Yeah, this isn't my first fundraising event for the RNBT. Firstly, I did a solo event doing the Great South Run. This time I got the whole ship's company involved, and when we did the running, the rowing, the swimming, and obviously the lifting the ship. The major difference was that now the whole ship's company are learning more about the RNBT. We achieved to raise more money, and the information they've learned about the RNBT they can take with them for future drafts and future deployments.
I was approached by Petty Officer Cook, who's my Deputy Weapon Engineering Officer, a keen fundraiser, family man, and whose wife's also in the service, about the possibility of engaging in some fundraising activity at the RNBT. A charity I was aware of, but I must confess not familiar with all their roles and responsibilities, but we latched onto it pretty quickly. And what was nice for me was getting immediate feedback from RNBT about our activities and our processes.
We normally raise a lot of funds for quite a few charities, and it was actually nice to see something different coming in. Obviously with P.O. Cook, he came through the messes and gave out a lot of documentation on what you were about, so it was actually quite easy to understand. So obviously from there we went on our deployment, and we started setting up different activities to raise the money for RNBT.
Once you've finished all your box sets of various different series and you're looking for things to keep you occupied, having something to latch onto as a team is so important. And I think P.O. Cook was instrumental in making the RNBT the crusade for HMS Chiddingfold, as we were then, now the crew in HMS Ledbury.
And it was good to see with Petty Officer Cook, with the money being raised, he fed that back to the ship, how much we actually raised, which then lifted the guys well, knowing that their money was going somewhere.
My involvement was, well, mainly the running, to be honest. Took a large chunk out of that. Spent probably a good hour and a half running solid.
Yeah, every year on the Mine Hunters, when you deploy, they try and make a big Christmas event. A main part of that is when we do rolling dice to see who does all the washing up. This year we carried out where you could buy yourself out if you had a low number, and then continue going on to the dice. We raised quite a lot of money, but people just didn't want to get their hands wet and doing the washing up this year.
I did the swimming and a bit of the rowing, a couple of thousand metres the rowing, but mainly mine was the swimming. I trained most days, a couple of miles, and then on the day I swam for 4 hours, did just over 6,000 metres.
We were all suddenly obsessed with RNBT, although some of us didn't even know what it meant at the start of the process. We became experts. So we latched onto it, it gave us something to focus on, and it made the deployment much more enjoyable. Now, we focused on that by raising money and getting some results.
The person who actually lost and finally did the washing up on Christmas Day was actually the DMEO, and he paid quite a lot of money in it, and it worked out he paid for the privilege of cleaning everybody else's plates and pots.
Well, everybody tends to do more fizz way anyway, because you get into a routine, it stops you missing home, but then also having a challenge, because it was all made into a challenge.
After seeing the success with the RNBT and with the sent us t-shirts, lanyards, you name it, we got it. The discussion on board through the guys here, we want to keep on supporting RNBT, as the support the UK of us was great, just morale lifting when we were away from home. So even though we're at home, it's still nice to keep that going.
RNBT to me is part of the through life service lifestyle that I think all people who join the Navy and the other services sign up to. I think the Navy takes people in from all sorts of different situations, provides them with extraordinary structure and meaning throughout their career, but also the RNBT helps to reassure those people that when they leave the service after 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 or more years, they're not going to fall off the cliff into a life which is strange and unexpected without support. And RNBT to me provides a scope for people leaving the service or people in the service to maintain the bonds of friendship and service life beyond what they've experienced while serving.